Lakna. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I want to firstly apologize because this full moon video that I'm making, which is happening on February 12th, is not very far away, and I really do want to make my new moon and full moon forecast a bit earlier so you all have the time to process and integrate the insights that come through me. This full moon has taken me a while to really process myself and gain the insights and clarity about the energies. So I apologize for that, but I'm here now with a few days to prepare for the next full moon, which is happening February 12th. In Vedic astrology is happening in the sign of Cancer and in the nakshatra called Ashlesha. This nakshatra is at the very last degrees of Cancer before we move into Leo. So it is at what they call a Gandanta point, where it's before a water sign moving into a fire sign, which is very karmic. This is a very powerful part of Cancer where we are really solidifying all of the learning and experiences of Cancer and really like mastering that Cancerian energy before we move into Leo. And it's about transmuting that watery, emotional, intuitive, subconscious energy, and transmuting that so that we can move into the fire of Leo and really take charge and take action and be powerful and in control of ourselves and of our emotional selves and of our lives, and just like go for it. In Leo is where you're just shining bright. You are like the main character of your life and nothing can stop you from that. You're just like in charge of your life, ready to go for it and shining your light as brightly as can be. In the sign of Cancer, you are almost there. You're really learning to embody and really feel comfortable in your emotions. And in this nakshatra of Ashlesha, it's so deep. I feel like this is one of the deepest stars where there is no fear in experiencing the ultimate depths of your emotional state, which can be, I can see that it can be a positive and not negative, but it can be detrimental as well. And this is a theme that has been coming up a lot, is that there is so much strength and power in vulnerability and in feeling the depth of everything, of your emotions, of like the experiences that you're going through, and really allowing yourself to feel what comes up. This is how you truly heal. What I have noticed in this star, Ashlesha, is that there is a possibility to get stuck in some of those heavier emotions. What I have also witnessed in just society in general is that there is so much of a tendency for so many people, it's becoming more and more praised almost, to not feel that depth, that intensity of emotion. There is a lot of spiritual bypassing happening in our reality now, where people really look down on others who are feeling that depth and experiencing that depth of emotion and going through like what you can call like a dark night of the soul, or like really, you know, processing and integrating like heavy things and your traumas and healing. And this is so important. This is such an important phase, and especially at the time of a full moon in the moon cycle, this is the phase of the moon cycle where you have to, or you're being asked to feel and experience the most. And this is because the moon is fully illuminating its light, and it's showing to us what has been hidden from our path for whatever reason. Everything is brought to light and everything is more intense, and it's just giving us that space to feel what maybe it's been too hard for us to feel, to see, to really process, will now be sort of forced into our experience at the time of the full moon. So as these experiences come up leading towards the full moon, give yourself space and nurturance as these heavier, potentially more difficult, intense emotions come up for you to process. Give yourself space and patience and nurturance. Cancer is the mother, so this is really about how we mother and nurture ourselves, and really like whatever you feel you need to feel more emotionally safe and secure. Like maybe you need some extra nurturing, wholesome food and water, and like, you know, healing music. Like create a sacred space for yourself in your room, light up a candle, have a nice bath, like all of these external feminine things to help your soul feel more safe. When we think about the previous new moon, which was the start of this chapter, the new moon was in Capricorn, and this is Vedic astrology. The new moon was in Capricorn, and I see Capricorn as the divine father energy, and this is all about how do we feel safe and secure and stable on a more physical level, and we set our intentions to create more of that physical security for ourselves. And now it's more about the emotional security. And because this is the full moon, what will be illuminated to us is more of the shadow stuff of the physical versus the emotional security, and the ways in which we have gone about creating this safety, security, and stability in our life that isn't actually serving us, that is more external and really not connecting with our soul on a higher level. And these things can be to do with, like with the Capricorn energy of feeling physically safe and secure. A lot of us are working in jobs that don't align with our soul path and our happiness, but we put ourselves in these positions for that material security. We put ourselves in relationships sometimes for that emotional security that maybe sometimes isn't aligned. And these things are going to start coming up, especially moving into the next new moon, which will be in Aquarius in Vedic astrology. I do feel like a lot of themes, and also because Venus will be going retrograde next month, I do feel like a lot of insights can come up to do with relationships. Maybe not necessarily in such a dark way that you need to leave your partner, but these themes can come up with, are you looking for security, stability, and safety in external things that aren't serving you, in external people, in external vices even. Like for me, I've had some major revelations about alcohol. I don't drink, and I did, like, I can't remember the last time I properly was drinking on a regular basis. It's been a very, very long time. I've been pretty much sober, but I recently, for my best friend's daughter's birthday, I just had the smallest glass of wine, and I realized why I stopped drinking. And yeah, I'm a bit too tapped into the astral realms to be able to do that. And I feel like I'll be making other videos later in the future about my revelations about that alcohol. It's a very dark thing. I don't recommend it to anyone, and no judgment if you do. But we all have our vices, we all have our addictions, and the things that we are drawn to give us a sense of safety and peace and security. For me, my biggest one, I think, is sugar, and sugar is so bad for you as well, unless it's natural sugar like fruits. That is definitely really good, but when it's coming to like, you know, gluten and sugar and like these man-made like sweets, I remember my old housemate, she has been coming to mind as of recently because she taught me a lot. My old housemate, who was also a very psychic woman, she also had sun in the 12th house like I do, and she was so special to me in my life. She told me about sugar and how it's connected to the sacral chakra. Our sacral chakra is the feminine energy, which is very connected to this full moon happening in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, very feminine. That flow, that intuition, our creativity, it is connected to sweetness, to feeling. That desirous energy is connected to sweetness, to sweets. To heal your sacral chakra, they actually recommend to eat natural sweets like dates, like fruits. And when your sacral chakra is imbalanced, or like closed off, or just out of whack, you will crave sugar. If you are not letting yourself enjoy life and to feel the sweetness of life, you will crave sugar. If you're not nurturing yourself, if your connection to your inner divine, you know, the way that you are mothering your inner child, if that is out of whack, and if you have an out of whack relationship with the feminine, you will most likely crave sugar, because that is very feminine. It's like that sweetness, that ability to enjoy and to really be in the flow, to be in that creative energy. That has a lot to do with that sweet energy as well, like really just enjoying and being like happy, really. So yeah, that is one thing. Another thing is craving sugar, not so much for the taste of it, but for the comfort that it's giving you, for the sense of sort of, you know, to ease your anxiety, to make you feel at least that momentarily feeling of just joy. And yeah, it's sort of all tied in with the sacral chakra. But I guess if there is, it could be anything like alcohol, sugar, drugs, sex. Like there's so many things that can be fine in moderation for many of us. For some of us, we are too sensitive and we do need to just fully cut certain things out of our life. Like I definitely have to cut out alcohol entirely. But just ask yourself, the next time you're craving something, just ask yourself like what your soul really needs in that moment. And this old housemate comes to mind so much because she and I were so psychic at that time. I remember we were going through an ascension process together. It wasn't a coincidence that I had moved into her house straight after my divorce. At that time, she helped me heal so much, but I did see that she also needed a lot of healing. And one thing that she taught me at that time, which I don't resonate with anymore, was to do certain things to help you as a psychic and intuitively spiritual person. And what she would do when she felt like the revelations were too much, or if she was having too many astral, you know, projections, or just like seeing too much through the third eye, she would have a drink. of alcohol, or she would eat something heavy like meat. And I do see where she was coming from. Meat, for example, is really connected to the root chakra. It is grounding if you feel like you're really not in your body, or if you're experiencing a lot of psychic, supernatural sort of stuff is happening. But now, yeah, looking back, that isn't what I resonate with. I wouldn't try to numb myself with external things. I would now allow myself to experience the intensity of whatever is coming up without trying to numb myself with what I believe to be lower vibrational external influences, because you can't really numb yourself out to things. Once your mind awakens to see what you're supposed to see in this life, you can't go back. So yeah, that's just my opinion, and I feel that with this star, Ashlesha, you can really tap into so much. It's such a psychic star, and it is at this point in Cancer where you have to accept that you are growing, you are ascending like the serpent that sheds its skin and transforms. This is your life. And I have a beautiful friend, Muna, who is in her, I think she is almost 40, I believe, and she looks younger than anyone I know. And even my old housemate, Mel, she looks younger than any 50-year-old that I know as well. And I feel that as you grow and you ascend and you allow yourself to really process the heaviness and release that, it's such a powerful thing. And you can see it in your face and in your body. You actually do shed old skin like the serpent, and what comes through is so much brighter and more youthful and more energized, and just like, yeah, just more alive, really. It is a powerful thing to go through this death and rebirth process, as scary as it can be in that phase where you're in the dark night of the soul. But I just wanted to really emphasize that importance, because I feel that a lot of society is becoming more and more on the other end of just bypassing that depth, that darkness, and just feeling as though they can override that and just focus on love and light. That is not what spirituality is. And if you're not willing to see the darkness, the shadows, that is really when you close your third eye off. And once you're ready to open it, you can't go back. Like, you can't numb yourself out with anything. Like, it's just, yeah, everything is just out in the open to see. And it is powerful, because that is when you heal your shadows and you heal all of your traumas, and you really become more and more strong in yourself and more stable, more secure, more grounded. And then we tap into that Leo energy where you're just like shining your light so brightly, because you're so strong and you're so powerful in who you are. This sign of Ashlesha, I feel that we can also have a tendency to over intellectualize and analyze our emotions, because Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So there is that intellect versus our mind and our emotions and our psyche. So some powerful practices to do is really any practices that allow you to sort of release the thoughts out of your mind and to tap back more into the heart and the soul. So like yoga, breath work, meditation, moving your body in any sort of way, journaling and reflecting, and just like really just giving yourself space, and just journaling whatever comes up, asking yourself, your higher self, questions, asking your inner child some questions as well about what he or she needs, as like now it's your responsibility to re-mother and to re-father your younger self and to see what he or she needs, because I'm sure that for most of us there is something there that our little younger self is still crying out for. And another thing with Cancer and Ashlesha, this sign, is that I feel that a lot of karmic family lineage patterns can come up to do with our ancestry, and yeah, things that have been just repeating and repeating, like patterns that we are ready to let go of, can come up now. Or, you know, not ready, not necessarily feeling ready to let go of, but we need to let go of, like patterns that have been really just stuck and rooted for so long. And we, you know, where as we ascend, we see these patterns in new, more evolved perspectives. So we are transcending them in many ways, even if we're not fully able to release and let go. We are healing that, and like, you know, slowly over time we are understanding why they exist and how we can be able to handle those patterns in better ways. Pluto is also opposing this full moon, and Pluto is to do with control, power, obsessions, secrets, death, rebirth, transformation. Pluto is really about destroying our ego and transforming into a more powerful version of ourselves, and taking our power and control back to ourselves, and dealing with the theme of power in the most highest vibrational way. So this is opposing this full moon. It's something to think about in terms of the things that we are giving our power away to, the addictions, the attachments, the vices, the people, the situations, like all of these things externally that we feel like we need to feel safe and secure and stable in ourselves. Just think about these things. Like, some of these things are healthy and powerful and good. Like, there's beautiful, loving relationships, there's like healthy, nourishing foods that we eat, and our connection with, like, connecting with our family and staying connected, and, you know, connecting out with nature, having a balance with work and family. And, you know, most of us, we do have to work a job to pay our bills, to pay our rent, to survive, and to live a wholesome life so that we can afford the things that make us happy. Money is an important part of life, and, you know, family is also important. Like, relationships are important, enjoying your life is important, connecting to God is important. These things are all like external things, but they need to be in balance. And we don't, and when we are overly needy or clinging or attached or addicted to any of these external things, or, like, you know, we're going to work too much, we're just neglecting the other aspects of our life, or we're escaping through work, that is when it's becoming an unhealthy balance in our life. And this Capricorn versus Cancer axis is really asking us to have a look at that. Work and security and money and feeling physically safe versus feeling emotionally safe and connected with our family and our mother and our home. Just thinking about that axis, but also thinking about these external things, and are we giving our power away with Pluto? Pluto wants us to remember, in order, like, we have to destroy our ego sometime to come to that realization that all of these external things, like, none of that really matters at the end of the day, as long as you have a really strong divine connection to yourself, and you can really work on that through reparenting yourself and being that divine father and mother for yourself, and really helping your inner child to feel safe, secure, and seen and loved and nurtured. And then go about life and with all of these external things, with the relationships, with the work and enjoyments, and all of the things that you do, and it will be way more in balance and in harmony. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you all for this upcoming full moon. I'd love to hear what's been coming up for you all as well, and your insights. Are there any addictions, attachments, or any sort of unhealthy habits that you're also working on? I'd love to hear what's been going on with you all. Besides that, I will see you all in my next new moon video. Have a lovely full moon and a lovely rest of your month. March is going to be a massive one, so yeah, just stay low-key, stay prepared this month, because March is going to be really big. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your month and this powerful full moon. Bye.